Hello and welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers.
By gamers, I'm Bajo.
And I'm Junglist.
It's been 6 years in the making, but finally Stalker has hit our shores.
Help!
Opening sequences for games. Love them or hate them, they're our ultimate showdown for this week.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman.
And we samurai it up on the PS3 title Genji, Days of the Blade.
Plus more Aya and the Doc, but first, here's Gamers News.
The Namco Bandai arcade game Tekken 6 will be the first game to use the PlayStation 3 technology outside the console itself. The Cell processor was developed jointly by Sony, Toshiba and IBM with the intention of it being able to be used for a variety of purposes, including medical and military applications. There's no release date yet available for the Tekken 6 arcade game, but it will be a worldwide release.
As predicted by Good Game at the end of last year, Harmonix, makers of Guitar Hero, MTV, and Electronic Arts, have announced Rock Band, where players take on the roles of the band members, guitarists, drummer, and of course the lead singer. Music publishers are coming to the party by allowing the game's developers access to master recordings of some of the biggest selling songs of all time. Expect to see Rock Band at Christmas time.
A report from the University of Bolton in the UK has found that massively multiplayer online role-playing games may not be as addictive as previously believed. The study found that levels of video game addiction could be as much as 10% lower than earlier studies. The report author, Dr. John Charlton, thinks the difference may be in how gamers were classified using symptoms that are used to diagnose gambling addicts, and that this was wrong. However, it's not all good news. 40% of those in the study said their social life was suffering from playing games, while 30% recognised gaming affected their ability to work, and half of the gamers confessed to being sleep deprived.
Good game!
Okay, gamers, here's the retro game for this week. It's cool. Very cool. Answer at the end of the show.
Good game!
6 years ago, when Badge here was just discovering deodorant, work began on a project called STALKER in the Ukraine. And just as my stinky friend and I were about to write it off as a Duke Nukem forever, we were pleasantly surprised.
Stalker takes place over a massive 30 square kilometres of radioactive wasteland. This is your playground, love it or hate it.
The story borrows from the 1979 movie Stalker. You wake up in a pile of corpses and get rescued from a truck wreck, and you have little or no idea of who you are or what to do.
This one seems to be alive. What a lucky guy. At least death would have saved him from the dreams.
Your only clue is in your PDA. Kill Strelok.
And among all the mutated wildlife and gravitational anomalies lies radioactive artifacts, which are of great value to stalkers in the zone.
It's up to you to make sense of it all by exploring the land, making nice with certain factions, and of course, shooting a lot of bullets.
It's the bandits! Help!
So, Jung, is it a shooter?
Well, yes, but it's totally non-linear. They keep the main plot points to a minimum while giving you lots of side missions to force you to explore the huge land.
So is it a sandbox?
Well, kind of, but you can't really go anywhere.
So is it an RPG?
It definitely has RPG elements. There are different factions that you could damage or raise your reputation with. There are rare items and limited bag space. Every item has a weight value.
And heavier guns weigh more, which means you need to eat more food to keep the energy up and drink more to keep the radiation levels down.
But you don't really have to level up your character or anything like that.
So, Jung, for the love of gaming, what is it?
It's an FPS with prominent RPG mechanics, kind of like Deus Ex.
It does remind me a lot of Deus Ex, but it is a bit less linear. In Stalker, there are multiple storylines and multiple endings and paths you can choose.
But the best thing about Stalker is that the world doesn't revolve around you. You're just in the world, you know? Within the zone, animals will migrate, the environment will change, other stalkers and factions will pursue their own agendas. You're just one guy in amongst it.
You make it sound like a good thing, Jung, but I actually found that slowed down the pace of the game. It took me about 4 hours before I started really to get invested and interested in the game, which makes me think, should I have to wait that long before I start to like it?
Probably the best example of Stalker is one of the early missions. When you're on your way, you come across an injured Stalker.
Help me, brother! Take the med kit off the stiff. I can't crawl that far.
It's up to you whether to keep the medkit for yourself or give it to him and then raise your reputation with his faction. Alternatively, you could go away for a few hours and come back and find out that he actually tried to crawl his way to the medkit but died halfway.
That is indeed awesome, and it does add to the whole atmosphere of the game as well. The graphics up close look kind of dated, but on an overall effect, they give it a nice radiation feel to it, and it's pretty cool.
It is because of that atmosphere that this game will scare you more than a game that's supposed to be scary, you know, like Fear. It's not cheap scare tactics, it's good scare tactics with good AI.
I'm not ashamed to admit it, John, but there were parts where I had to be on the phone to my mum just to get through in this game. The AI really excels. The enemies will flank you and often try and lure you out or bait you, and you have to do the same and use all the cover you can to try and take them out. It's pretty tough.
Did you manage to get online with it?
I did, Jung, and the multiplayer modes are pretty standard stuff, but the actual day and night effects, which are normally cosmetic in a game like this, really make a difference in Stalker and really make you take a different approach to how you're going to attack and suss out your enemies. That is when I could actually connect. There are some ping issues and some connection problems at the moment.
So this brings us to the bugs section, yes?
Yes, it does. If you're running Windows Vista, you're gonna have problems, even if you have the latest patch.
That's right, and in most situations there's no solution for this, it's just tough noogies. But in some situations you can solve it. It's a problem with Windows not letting Stalker access enough RAM. We're putting a few links up on the Good Game site to help you solve this, but be advised they're for advanced Windows users only.
Another thing too, when it's raining, you're assaulted by grey lines and triangles sometimes, and this is a bit frustrating. And another thing, which I'm not really sure if it's a bug or if it's just annoying, but occasionally when you shoot someone, they go into an animation which makes them immune to bullets for about a second. This is a game mechanic which is a bit frustrating, and I know I should be going for headshots, but it's still kind of annoying. Also, it's generally accepted that the crosshair is way too big.
And there's been a bit of talk on the net about a hungry bug. This is a bug where you get so hungry you die no matter what, even after eating all your food, using all your bandages and your med kit, whatever. But this is not actually a bug. What happens is if you press the numpad star on your keyboard, this speeds the game up, which speeds your hunger up as well. You can solve this by pressing numpad /, which slows the game back down again. This isn't in the game literature or in the manual, the controls menu or anything, so if you've got a keypad configuration, you'll just have to work around it.
Great job, boys. We wiped them out. Everybody have some rest. And you, Stalker, come over here. Let's have a chat.
You know, Jung, I just wasn't able to get into it as much as you did. It really is a game of personal taste, and I found it's not something you just pick up and play.
No, definitely not. It's a hit or miss game, no pun intended. But if you love realism and if you like the exploratory type, if you got the time to really enjoy it, then you'll really enjoy it.
But if you like going from A to B and winning the game as fast as possible, this isn't the game for you.
Radioactive chickens?
I'm going with 6.5 radioactive chickens. I can see that people would like this game, but I'm just not one of them. The clumsy inventory system and the bugs after 6 years of development was too much frustration for me. So, also, I think you only like it mainly because of the vodka thing.
True. I got right into the world, to be honest, and it scared me, which is pretty hard to do. Even though I've got my minor quibbles with it, I'm still slapping an 8.5 on this sucker. If you're an FPSer with the time to explore, you'll love it. It's massive.
Have you hidden the sensor bar again, John?
Yeah, I lost it. I'm sorry.
Sigh! How am I supposed to get my Zelda on?
I'll call the duck and see if he can help. Whoa.
Hey guys, what's up?
I broke the interwebs. I mean, I lost the Wii Sensor Bar.
Here, take these. Put them on the TV.
Hey, cool, it works.
All the sensor bar does is let the Wiimote pick up where it is in space. So since it's based on infrared, you can replace it with 2 candles and it'll still work just fine. And if you've been wondering what the sensitivity slider in the console settings does, it changes how much light the Wiimote picks up, so you can easily play with this to get it working properly.
Thanks, Doc.
Cool, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gamers, it's ultimate showdown time, where we pit one aspect of gaming versus another to try to determine the winner.
This week, it's best opening sequence.
That's right, and I'm a fan of them myself, as long as you can skip through them. I think they set up the mood perfectly.
Yeah, but sometimes they put too much effort into the opening sequence, and then when you actually play the game, the graphics let you down, and it makes you feel a little bit disappointed, Pans.
True that. To the forums we go.
Now, this has been a popular one on the forums, with over 70 games getting a mention.
Yeah, Axe reckons he had to change his pants after the Battlefield 1942 intro. Matter of fact, every game in the Battlefield franchise got a mention.
Half-Life 1 and 2 also got a few nominations.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until, well, let's just say your hour has come again.
And just about every Final Fantasy game got a nod as well, with special notice being taken on the latest in the series, Final Fantasy XII.
Some older games got a mention too, like Donkey Kong 64.
Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Oh yeah, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells.
And Age of Empires 2.
Well, that's my pick right there, Age of Empires 2. World of Warcraft also got lots of praise. But the game that got the most forum votes of all was Dawn of War. Let's take a look at what was so good about it.
Well, I have to say, the chainsaw does it again. Here's a little Bajo tip for any game developers out there. Put a chainsaw in your game and you've got a winner on your hands.
Hey, you know there was a chainsaw in that Desperate Housewives game?
Oh, really?
No.
Good game.
And this week's review winner is...
Hi, my name is Ross Donovan. I'm the creator of Gamer Tonight. I'm just here to show you how the cartoon's made. Where it all started for me was definitely on the net, so with websites like Newgrounds.com and stuff. That really got me interested in animation in general, but then I think I was using Flash for about 3 years, just doing it as a hobby. And then later on, when I left high school, I decided I'd like to do something with this, and I went to this place called the Film and Television Institute of Australia, and I did a one-year course on doing my diploma of animation. We're on screen over here. We have Shaolin Sausage, which was an animation I developed as a concept for my animation diploma. Everyone was required to pitch their own idea for a cartoon, and my idea got chosen, this Shaolin Sausage one. It's a bit wacky, but anyway, it got chosen and eventually got made into an 11-minute cartoon, so I was pretty happy with that. I made a competition entry for the Win the Beast competition back in season 1, and Good Game contacted me and asked if this season I'd be interested in making a segment using the character Richard Farkas. And I decided to make a talk show that would go into the kind of cultures and genres that are, you know, all about the gaming culture. When it comes to thinking of an idea for each episode, I'll normally try to make fun of things that I have personal experience with. The first one, a retro gamer. I would consider myself a bit of a retro gamer, so therefore I'm probably making fun of myself at the same time.
Cheer up, Emo Pops, I'm just messing with you.
Then now we've got the World of Warcraft one. That's probably making fun of my World of Warcraft experience. I even played a mage for a while. Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm not making fun of other people, I'm making fun of myself, so don't get offended out there. You know. Most of the animation is all planned out on paper first. Generally, I'll be drawing up the objects and the characters, and I try to get them all like planned out, and then I bring them into Flash and start coloring them in and whatnot. One episode of Gamer Tonight would generally take about a week to make. When the cartoon airs, when you're seeing it, I'm starting the next one. If I was to recommend anyone else getting to animation, I'd definitely say get involved with the film scene in your local community. Don't just think that because you're going to learn to use like animation programs, don't think that you're going to be able to use the program and you'll easily be able to animate. You have to take into consideration the basics of, you know, drawing human anatomy and cartooning on paper. It's all important when it comes down to it. If someone has a problem with the cartoon, I'm happy to hear what their problem is and what they think could improve it. I will always take it into consideration, and I'm always on the Good Game forums after each episode airs to listen to what people have to say. I'm very open, so just let me know. Okay, well, thank you for listening to me talk about how Gamer Tonight is made, but seriously, I have an episode to make, so like, go away.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Richard Farkas, and welcome to Gamer Tonight. Tonight, we'll be talking with Arthur Pilladin, a World of Warcraft player. At least I think we'll be talking to him. Seriously, has anyone seen him around? Arthur, I presume? That is but the name I'm referred to by mere mortals of this realm. You may refer to me as the one known as Arthur Stormrain, powerful frost mage, hero of the Alliance, bringer of justice to those in need. Role-playing server, right? Yep, I see. So what attracted you to playing the mage class? Well, for starters, we're very powerful damage dealers. Oh, don't forget your ability to run and hide like a giant wuss. As if, with our powers, we have no need to run from that of the Horde. Yes, I'm sure the Horde all tremble at your ability to quench their thirst. Why do you continue to mock me so? Because something tells me you're not exactly the powerful mage you make yourself out to be. As far as MMO player stereotypes go, you're supposed to be an overweight 14-year-old boy with terrible acne who pays for his monthly subscriptions by mowing his grandma's lawn on Tuesdays after school, whose social life is driven by in-game relationships that he or she experiences through the company of their guildmates and or other players. Also, you hide inside the virtual world behind that of a superior internet avatar to compensate for what you don't have.
Oh, fiddlesticks, you got me. Damn you, Richard Farkas. I would have gotten away with it, too, if it had not been for your undeniably flawless personality analysis skills.
My work here is done.
La 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 la, so you think you can't game.
This week we're looking at enemy territory. Jung behind me here is training up for the Ruffle Cup, so I'm going to give him and you guys a simple tip to help you humiliate your opponents. Engineers have a lot of tricks up their sleeves, including the ability to lay mines. So lay a mine and get a lieutenant or a medic to help you along, and lay an ammo pack or a med pack on top of the mine. Then run away. A noob will come along and go, ooh, free goodies, step on the mine and boom. Say good. Even if the mine is detected, the ammo pack or med pack will obscure the flag marking its location anyway. So try that on a pub server. Now to this week's challenge. Normally when you lay a dynamite at an objective point, an alarm will sound alerting all the enemies. But on certain maps like Fuel Dump, it's possible to lay dynamite without setting off this alarm. How do you do this? Well, I'm not going to tell you, that's for you to find out. As a hint, I used 2 dynamite. So let me know how you go in the forums. Until next week, Aya out.
Good game! I don't know what they are planning, but it seems the Haishi are attempting to regroup. We must put a swift end to them once and for all.
The sequel to the PS2 game, Genji Days of the Blade on the PS3, is a single-player sword-slashing, club-thumping, grapple-throwing, spear-shielding adventure in which you take control over 4 ancient samurai warriors to battle the Heishi clan. They've returned to power with the help of some weird jelly pink crystals in their chests.
Now, Jung, I'm no historian, but the look and feel of the level design and characters in this game is actually kind of authentic, and I'm told they're based on actual ancient Japanese samurais around in the 12th century, give or take 100 years. The slow and steady way your enemies appear and surround you is kind of cool, and it makes for some really good fight setups. Also, some of the levels are based on actual Japanese ancient battles.
The first of which takes place in an ancient Japanese burning building, which somehow never burns down, no matter how long you take.
Many of the physical barriers in the game require you to take a hold of the beefiest of your 4 heroes and use a big stick and hit things with it, and each character has their own play style and weapon sets and combos.
Yoshitsune is a very fast and versatile samurai. He's probably the character you're going to want to use throughout the whole game. The beefcake guy is sluggish but hard-hitting. Then you've got the new characters, the strange spear-shielding soldier and the obligatory priestess in tight clothing, of course.
Oh, Lady Shizuka. I'm glad you're safe.
We must hurry. The Shishin Temple is just ahead.
The idea behind the game is that mid-battle you switch between characters and use their special abilities to take out the current foe you're fighting. I found you didn't really need to do this. You can just stick with the same one, but you need to switch when a particular obstacle or puzzle comes up that requires their unique ability.
Or if you got low health.
Ah, true. There is an astral plane you can take your character to as well, and everything goes very leavy and kind of slows down. You can do all these little mini games to take out your foes in a more efficient way. Look, I think Genji had a lot of potential, you know, but there's a lot of flaws in the game that are very visible, especially after playing the awesome fest that was God of War 2 on the PS2. I really went into Genji with high hopes. The crazy, awesome music and the costumes and the way it all felt was really authentic. But there are a lot of repetitive moments in the game, and also the camera angles are really frustrating at times.
Yeah, what was with that? I mean, I didn't want to have to look at my mini-map to see where the enemies are, even though they're only a couple of paces away from me. Also, the technique about changing to a different camera angle every time you enter a room, this is a technique to save on hardware resources. But isn't this the PS3? Aren't we beyond these camera tricks?
I know, it's meant to be next gen, but also, what are ye oldie English accents doing in ye oldie Japan?
How dare you!
Oh, sorry about that. You were standing there so still. I just assumed that you were a statue.
Do I look like a dumb statue? Come down here right now!
I have a better idea. How about this? Why don't you come up here?
Final thoughts, John?
It all feels a bit rushed to me. I mean, it was alluded to in the trailer, it alluded to a bit more than just a button-mashing fest, but that's what it is. It's repetitive, it's got nothing new to offer, it's a bit of fun, but I'm giving it 6 out of 10 teriyaki rubber chickens.
Interesting level design and some cool boss fights. Wasn't really enough to get over the frustration factor with me for this one. I really think it had a lot of potential, and it could have and should have been better, especially for a PlayStation 3 only release, but I'm going to go with 6 out of 10 as well. I'm going to put God of War 2 back in my PlayStation now and hug it.
Stop. So, did you guess the game for this week?
It was the classic arcade game Snow Bros.
Snow Brothers is a snow-flinging, ball-throwing fiasco in which you, a small snowman-like creature, had to knock your enemies to the bottom of the screen. It also featured some fun bosses and quirky music.
Well, sadly, Jung, it's time for us to go.
Next week, we've got one of the most lauded and influential game developers from Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima.
I wanted to create the ultimate, hide and seek on a 3D level.
We review Armed Assault and we join the Pro Tennis circuit with Virtua Tennis 3.
Game, set, and match. Player one.
And it's Raffle Cup time again. We respond to the challenge from our very own forums for enemy territory. Bragging rights are on the line.
All that and more, plus Ire and the Doc next week.
Same time, same place, gamers. Jung out.
Bajo out.